This is psychic medium Jane Hamilton Parker. The date is April the 26th, the year 2022. Today I'm going to talk about seers, prophets, and people that have the gift of intuition. Now, the most famous people that can recognise will be Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce, and because we have sages as well as avatars. Now, a seer is somebody like myself that can see the future and can look at the situation and have a gift of clairvoyance. Excuse me a minute. Chewing my gum. Now, as all of you know, people are interested in the future because a seer is a wise one that can see things but cannot stop events. Because at the moment we've got a war going on in Ukraine and Russia. Now, wars are nothing new because we've had wars from the beginning of time, like when the Vikings in the 11th century raided Britain, France, and all around the coastal areas. And then we had the Romans as well, going right back, and I must get this my facts right, from the 11th century going onwards. And then we had in Russia in 1570 to 1572 Ivar the Terrible, Crimean War. So wars have always been there, right from biblical times and everything. Now, what we're experiencing in the 21st century is a very materialistic world, a world that people want to take over, a world that wants to conquer certain planets, certain countries. They may be wanting to conquer the planets and the universe, but going right back in history and going to present times, there are still good people that can knock out the darkness, and the light always follows and comes in. Now, I believe that we're seeing all these terrible things that are happening in Ukraine. Well, I can assure you, Ukraine is a lot stronger, as I said before in my previous predictions, stronger than Russia thinks. And there is hope for Ukraine because Ukraine will not give in and there will be help. Now, people have a great fear what Russia is going to do and with nuclear wars and things like that. Now, has Russia got that kind of power? Has the West got that kind of power? The only power that we need at the moment is doing greater things, helping those that are less fortunate. Now, May is going to bring changes this year around Ukraine. I do feel with the economy and everything in the future, there's going to be a lot worse that's going to happen. So people have to really stop and think what's the most important things that we have here. And the most important things we have here is life and love. And material things, you can't really take them with you. You come in with nothing and leave with nothing. So food prices, there will be a food war. There's not going to be food shortages yet. So, people are going to go back to the old ways, I feel, like grow their vegetables and things. Food prices are going up, but people's wages aren't coming up. So we will see an outcry. We will see protest and everything in London and around the world associated with food. Also, we're going to get, I see, right to the future, and I'm going to go to the year 2030. I do feel the world has changed an awful lot. Excuse me. We will see robots, drones are going to take a much more important place in the world. So we'll see all these cooperative companies and things that are trying to take over. We will see robots. I mean, I don't agree with these smart roads. I don't know about you, but I mean, they're meant to be experimental. If they don't work, are we going to go back? I don't think so. Also, we're going to see there's going to be protests over fishing rights and fishing. We're going to see the planets going to produce more plant food. People are going to go back to, as I said, the old ways and everything. There will be higher prices in the house industry. It won't improve. It's going to people take mortgages out that are going to be 60 years, not just 25 years as original mortgages, and then they're going to be passed down through the family, a bit like the Chinese do. So it all passes down to the next generation and generation. We're going to see that. And we're going to see people trying to rent rooms going back to like the Second World War. We're going to see many things revert back. We're going to see people becoming more selfish, I feel. Especially, we're going to get people that are going to feel that they've got to have everything, and that won't be the important issue or anything. We're going to see experiments on animals that people are going to be great protest and things, which rightly so. I also feel that we're going to see a division in England and Scotland, very much so in the future. We're going to see that people are going to be more socially aware than what they are at the moment, because the people, the media, Twitter, Facebook and all these things are not necessarily a good thing, are they? Though I'm doing this at the moment, they're not necessarily a good thing. We need to go back to the old values. The world's going crazy at the moment. It's like people are saying, it's wrong to be white, it's wrong to be black. What does it really matter? You cannot wipe history out, what's been. You cannot suddenly make history and wipe it out. Otherwise, we might as well wipe the Bible out, hadn't we? And everything. I mean, you go to Pompeii, how can you wipe that history out? What happened there? And the Romans, you cannot. There are many, many great people in this world that try to bring peace, and I can think of one, the Dalai Lama. I can think of another, Sharavana Baba, and I can think of many, many good people. But people don't want to know about the good things. They want to know, how am I going to be rich? In my experience, I've had many people that have come here, personal readings, am I going to make a lot of money? And I've got to say to the answer to that, you only make money if you work hard, not ripping people off. And people that usually make lots of money are quite ruthless in their actions and everything. What's the point of it? What, to have a bigger house, to have a bigger car, a bigger yacht and things? What's the purpose? Sometimes in life, the simple things bring the most pleasures. Baked beans on toast. You don't have to have a caviar lifestyle. You don't have to have fine dining. That's okay all the time. I know when I used to travel a lot, and I've been around most parts of the world and I used to cruise a lot, the simple things coming back after having all these rich foods is like baked beans on toast or homemade soup or just a piece of toast with Marmite on. To me, that's luxury. Now, the will and the karma is changing at the moment. And we will see good things as well as bad things. There is still hope, there's still love in the world. The world is changing, all technology is changing. There will be cures for things. And also we will see very many things grown in laboratories to help other people. And I'm not talking about all this ghastly growing artificial meat and things like that. You've got to really research things, what it's going to do to the human body. If you have a good life, and you have a good life like being healthy, doing good things, enjoying life, then you achieve a very good karmic action, because everything you do on the earth plane is noticed. I mean, somebody might give money to a charity and they hold up a check. They want the recognition, they want the praise. But a good person doesn't need to have the praise, doesn't need the recognition. They know in their heart what they've done to reach out and help others. Being spiritual is a very hard journey for most people. Being spiritual is still being wise, not being weak, letting people walk over you, is taking really note what's going on of all these things. So to be a wise one is very important. I just put a few notes down, so bear with me. I mean, the Romans, take it for the Romans. they were the really inventors, what I call essential heating, how they had all these heated baths and things, very clever. They were ahead of their time. And, you know, when we stand still and we go all back into history, there was lots of people, especially wanting power to rule the world and everything. And, you know, though there were a lot of clever ideas and things like this, you know, the most important journey that they didn't recognise was, why are we here? What is our purpose? It's not about empowerment. It's not about taking over the world. It's not about, I've got everything and you do as I say, because you cannot get or achieve that in a lifetime, conquering the whole world. Hitler tried it and look what happened to him. I mean, Hitler, people were memorised about him because they wanted a perfect race, a heron race, blonde hair, blue eyes. And he was very interested in the occult. He was very interested in the 30 zodiac sign. He was very interested having a perfect world. But what a price that he paid for it, because it didn't do him any good in the end, did it? Because, you know, people don't want wars. People just want a happy, good life and to be peaceful. And we want a community, a world community that we're reaching, helping others, not a world that's threatening you. If you help that country or that country, I will nuke you. And if you belong to that union or that, you will pay the consequences. Have they not thought for a moment the higher powers of be, and there are higher powers to be, can do a lot more? They don't need tanks, they don't need gangs of destruction. You know, I personally feel that you have to be strong in this life, and I always do a mantra that be a woman but think like a man to get on. In other words, be strong, be sensible, don't be weak, be a tigress. I really, really do believe in this life we're all being tested. How many tests do we need? The strong will survive, the weak will fall. But it's not necessary like that, because the strong can always help the weak. And this is what we're experiencing now with Ukraine and Russia. You know, at the end of the day, all we want is people to survive and help each other. Even in the animal kingdom, the survivors, and they help each other. You know, everything has a purpose. I'm waffling a bit, I know, but everything has a purpose here. Even a snail has a purpose, even an ant has a purpose. Everything has a purpose. I mean, worms, birds, they need worms, there's a purpose. Bees, they need to make honey, there's a purpose. So if you attack the queen bee, they will sting you, there's a purpose. So everything has consequences in this life. So we have to have non-attachment to those things that's so unimportant. Does it matter about the latest flat screen television? No, it doesn't. Does it matter that I've got a bigger house than you? No, it doesn't. That's only somewhere that in your earthly body that you are just staying in for the time being till you pass to the higher life. It doesn't matter. Does it matter if I have a big boat? Does it matter if I have a bigger car? No, because a car only gets you from A to B. And who wants a huge mansion? Because more work, more cleaning, more tending the gardens and everything. I mean, even the olive groves have survived hundreds of years in Italy, and they still produce wonderful olives, and you can make such wonderful things from them. Oil, soaps, creams, they've survived. And I wonder if a tree could talk, if it could tell you what happened and about people. Wouldn't that be marvellous? But, you know, everything has a purpose in this life. Spiritual beings, high spiritual beings with high good values, high spiritual beings that are showing people the way. And even Jesus was a teacher, and his really mantra was truth. Truth, and truth is important. And love, and serve all, love, important. But, you know, even Jesus had a temper, going into the temples and seeing the Jewish moneylenders and turning the tables. You know, how truth is important. And then we have the wonderful Sai Baba, an avatar, who I had the privilege of being in his presence, Craig and I, going right back, I believe, in the 80s, and actually being in his presence and standing in front of us. His message was love all, serve all, truth. And then we have a new one, Sharavana Baba, who once again does good deeds, and once again the message is love and truth. Now, it's all very well having love and truth, isn't it? How are we going to live? Well, we live by honour, we live by integrity, we live by working hard and achieving things. It's not wrong for people, don't get me wrong, to work hard and to have material things, but not to get material things, it's the be all and end all. It's not, because, you know, time can just go like a flicker of an eyelash because time is so precious while we're here on God's earth, very, very precious. And, you know, don't have time for worrying. Have non-attachment to anxiety and worrying, because it doesn't get you anywhere. Be a very positive person and be a wise person, very wise, and see the bigger picture and surround yourself with good people, with good values. Because, you know, I believe in karma very much. It may be quite a while before it comes round and you think, well, that person done me wrong, so that person really should pay the price. It might be many lifetimes before that person pays the price, but you should not focus on the evil or the bad. You should focus on the good very much. Because if people have done wrong to you and you've suffered, that's good, because in a way you're not going to go through that pathway again. And as I say, every action is accountable on the earth. Every action that you take and brings good karma. So you try to create good karma around you. Even animals create good karma. A puppy, for instance, might be going in a flowing river, and then the mother instinct will go in to rescue that puppy, good karma. And we have many, many people here that I feel should do good in the world. I hate zoos. I hate to see animals caged. I hate to see brown bears on a concrete surface. It's not natural, and they absolutely die of boredom. And then you see people coming to stare. I wonder how humans would feel if we put them in cages and we put them behind glass screens with nothing there and just some water and leave it. I wonder how they would like it, people viewing into things. But, you know, at the end of the day, to have psychic abilities, to have clairvoyance, to be a seer, to be a prophet, you have to have many incarnations to come here to help others. Nobody is better than anybody. It's like, you know, Ivor the Terrible, that once was on the earth plane in 1547 to 1721. He thought he could take over Russia and created all that. It didn't work for him, did it? So, you know, you have all these people that are deluded, that feel they can take over the world and that. And, you know, and perhaps it brings a reality check to all of us that this isn't right. It's a wonderful world, but it's the people in it at the moment. But, you know, we will pass, it will all pass all this, you know. I feel sorry for the people in Ukraine, and I feel that we all do great actions by rescuing people, giving refugees homes. I also feel sorry for mothers that have lost their sons, that had no choice, that had to go to war, be it the Second World War, the First World War, the Russian war, the Ukraine war, that those mothers have lost their sons. And nothing in God's earth can stop their grieving for them. And I saw an old lady in Ukraine, it came up on my newsfeed, that his son, 23-year-old son, was laying in bed, had done nothing wrong, and then suddenly somebody came in and shot him. And this poor old lady, she must have been about 80, was trying to, or perhaps 76, she looked quite old, was trying to bury her son with her bare hands so the dogs didn't eat his body. Oh, you cannot comprehend somebody can do that, as that somebody had suffer. And I'm a great believer. It doesn't matter what you were in a past incarnation. It matters what your actions are in this incarnation. There's only one oracle in the universe that I know that can tell you what you were and how you can change your actions, but it comes at a price. That is called the Nadi oracle. That is on palm leaves, hundreds of years old. And it's in Tulu and different things, and it will change through the power of light. Well, people think, oh, I have that oracle. I'll just pay that money because it's going to tell me when I'm going to get rich. But what they forget is it can also tell you when you're going to die and what tragedies and what you were in a past life. But you change that by doing good things. So you have to do good things in the temples, the priests, and you have to donate money in different things like this. So it's not about a reading how my love life will be affected. Am I going to get a property? It's beyond that. It's a high spirituality. Now, there's been many prophets in our lifetime, and I just wrote down a few. One was Jesus, of course, that represented truth. Nostradamus, that saw things, there was a seer, and Edgar Casey. Now, Nostradamus used to do water scribing. So get a bowl of water and see the future. And I believe also he used to like making herbs and different things. And like from the rose hip, he discovered by rose hip that could help people with coughs and things like that. Because remember, in that century, they didn't have the medicines and all of the substance like we've got now. And he developed that. And he saw wars and things like that. But his interpretations were slightly different than our interpretations as seers see today, of course. And Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet, now there was a very wise one that used to go to sleep and he could see things and he could see the axis of the earth changing and he could see different things, but there was hope. There was hope. And I want to say to you today, and this is me, Jane Hamilton Parker, that I don't see the world ending. I do see the world is suffering at the moment, but it will bring us closer together because, as I say, nobody wants wars. The only wars that I see is the corporative companies, the greed, that's what I'm seeing. But at the moment, you're all quite safe because we all fear for our children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren and the future children of the future generation. There will still be life here. There still will be life here. There still be forms. There will be discovery in the 21st century of a new planet. There will be discovery of new life forms on another planet, and that would be water and plants. So, you know, we're being observed at the moment in this world, and it's not a bad thing. Okay, now we will see different species that will be discovered. We will see different plants, different forms right at the depths of the sea. We will see lots of history, unknown history that will be shown to us in the 21st century. We will discover different tombs. There's like Egyptians that they will discover going back in previous centuries where their tongues are made of gold. All these different things we will see because, you know, we'll see things because the Egyptians believed in the afterlife and the underworld, of course, and that's why they considered cats sacred and gold, and they used to put things in mummified bodies to take to the afterlife. Even the Chinese people did, even the slaves going, the emperors had to have their tongues cut out when an emperor died, and they were put in great depths and buried, and of course all the sulphur killed them and everything. This was to take the slaves to the afterlife. So people have always been intrigued in the afterlife, and it's just like Jesus, really. In my Father's house there's many mansions. He was talking about the afterlife, and he came back and rose on the third day to show them the way to the afterlife. And because all interpretations and things all get lost, don't they, in time and things. But I do see that what we're experiencing now around the earth is an awakening, a very, very strong awakening. Things won't be as bad as people think. Yeah, higher food prices, medical bills and all these different things in houses. But my advice to you is go with the flow, always save money, spend a little, save a little, and you always have some money. Okay. Now, from certain saps of trees, we will find medicines that will help people, I believe, with cancer. I see that in the future for man to find. I also believe that people will be more spiritually advanced, and I've always felt in the future that there will be good things, not negative things, that we will still have access to nature, because at the moment they're all cutting everything down and building all these ghastly houses on beautiful fields and that. But we do need nature, we do need trees for the oxygen. There will be hope for those that can't have children. I see that there will be a medical advantage that's going to happen for those that can't conceive. We will have many, many wonderful things that will come to the earth. Okay. I always felt telepathically our visions will go on the wall in the future. So who needs these television screens? And there's going to be higher things. Are we going to have state police? Yes, we will in the future. Are we going to have robot state police? Yes, we will. Are we going to have other forms of life? Yes, we will discover that. Will the planet be destroyed? No, it won't. Will other people have hope where people are ill? Yes, there will be. Now I'm going to finish now because I don't want to sound as if I'm waffling, but there is a spiritual awakening that's happening at the moment. There are dark forces, but the light forces will wipe out the dark forces, and you will experience that this year, definitely. So do look after yourselves and do take heed and be positive with your actions. Help and love every day as you can. And remember, I will give you time to time predictions, and next time I thought I might do mystical magical numbers, but you're not to use it for lottery numbers, okay? Because I'm going to do a next video that through the time how prophets, our seers, our magicians use magic numbers and Romans. So do take care, lots of love, and remember, stay safe. Bye.